Hello, my fellow earthlings out there. I am yet making another video because I felt inspired to talk again. And this one is about um, when you want to connect very deeply, say when you're doing your meditations and all that, and um, you want to connect with these lovely higher um, beings, whether they be ETs, the angelics, and that, it's funny because it seems like you see some people and they have like these amazing, you know, pictures or videos. They've seen crafts or whatever, and you're like, I want that contact too. I want to feel it too. How come, I trust me, I know where you're coming from. um, and if you're like me, it seems like more people, including myself, we all have these experiences. Say, we always like at least one with the paranormal, or in my case, multiple experiences with the paranormal. But we aren't getting this beautiful love vibration ET, and it really sucks. I know, because usually a lot of times when I've had paranormal experiences and that, I've had good ones. I don't want to say like they're all dark or whatever, but a lot of times it was, stuff maybe that I didn't want. So I'm going to kind of dive into it a little bit here. Okay. Now, it doesn't mean it's something you're doing wrong or something like that. I want to put that out there first, because I saw and I couldn't believe the amount of people who appreciated for me standing up for people who were dealing with sleep paralysis. I am a sleep paralysis sufferer, okay? And I saw a lot of bashing, a lot of people saying, well, if you're having that and you're seeing these scary things, it's because you messed with the occult or you did something wrong. Not necessarily. I think you can be the most, what's the word I'm looking for? Bear with me. Like I said, I have Lyme, so it's kind of hard sometimes. That's why my words get a little choppy when I'm making videos. So, but anyways, you can have this very close, tight relationship with God, however you want to say, the all divine source or whatever, and yet you might be going through these horrible episodes, and why are they happening? Okay. Or so let me discuss that before I get into about making connection and that with higher beings or angelics. My personal view. Now, I'm not saying that this is it, but this is just my personal view. For starters, I believe we all have contracts before we come. We've had many lives, and what happens is sometimes we allow, even though we ask for protection, and protection is very important. I try to do protection every night, every time during the day, and that, always asking for protection, but some things are still allowed to come through. And I believe that what happens is sometimes we agree for certain things to take place when it comes to this kind of contact that we don't feel comfortable with. That's just, in our contracts or whatever, for whatever learning purpose it is, even if it's kind of frightening or whatever. I don't know. I really don't know. So I'm just saying that that's my personal view, but I'm not saying that that is correct at all. Okay. But I think too, a lot of times when we have these experiences that we can't understand, and that we also, like me, I love my family. I really do. But we have a very chaotic household, okay? And it's all this friction and all this, okay? Which brings me to my next point. For one thing, those of more malevolent or not so nice nature and that love chaos, okay? They're right there buddying with Apep. And if you don't know who Apep is, he was the Egyptian god of chaos, okay? that's his lovelies, right? He loves chaos. They love it, right? The more chaotic, the better. Feels good. They feed off it. They feed off your fear. They feed off your anxiety. They love that, right? Now, I'm not saying that to scare you whatsoever, okay? Because there's also beautiful, light, and wonderful beings out there who care, who love, who want to support you in that. And, um, you know, you gotta just, when you're doing your reaching out and praying to them, you really gotta separate yourself. If you're from, like me, and you're living in a place where it's a lot of chaos, I'm not saying it's all bad or anything like that, but it's just chaotic. I have a very chaotic household. Everybody in my household, everybody's got a chaotic life going on. Like, they got so much stuff going on. And so sometimes, and that can drain our energy down, and the not so nicer beings and that love to take advantage of us when we're our most vulnerable, okay? So, but if you can find a place like me, I was saying on my last video, I like to go, I have a spot, excuse me, I'm sweating because it's really hot here. If you can find a spot, say, that makes you feel good, mine is out over in the forest, because even though I'm in Florida, the beaches, I'm in the middle, and so if I want to go to the beach, I'm going to be taking between an hour to hour and a half, no, more than an hour, yeah, about an hour and a half either way. So that's a long trip if I'm just trying to get some peace, although I will do it if I absolutely feel I need to be at the beach. But a lot of times I like to go to a little forest area that's very dear to me, and it's it's a well-known public place, so I'm not like just going off in some forest where, I don't know, where it's just completely isolated. You want to be careful also, right? But I go to this place because it's not too busy. Might have the occasional people, couples or whatever, and going by, but for the most part, I find it's very good. I meditate there and that, and it's a peaceful, loving energy and that, okay? And I find that when I do that, and that gives me a chance to connect with my higher self, my spirit guides, and star family. I call them star family because I believe that we actually all have star family out there, even though we don't all have the physical signs and that's, trust me, I understand that. I know how that feels to not get physical evidence, but I think they leave signs in other ways sometimes, and they might not be the big bold pictures or the videos like you see someone else get, and you're like, dang, why does this person get this, and this? Trust me, I so understand this, okay? But sometimes I find with like extraterrestrials and that, that are, okay, for one thing, it's not easy for them because you're talking about different dimensions and vibrations and all that. So there's a lot for it to have a physical appearance. It takes a lot, right? And you don't know what is in someone else's contract as to why they're getting the more physical experiences, but you're not. But does that mean you're less important to these loving, kind, beautiful, I'm talking about benevolent beings, not malevolent, but benevolent beings? No. I think we all are important to them. We all matter to them but it depends too on our energy and what we have around us. And I think that they're more subtle too, because I think that just as curious as we are about them, they're just as curious about us. But they also, the good ones, okay, I'm talking about, they want to be careful, okay, because a lot of us, or a lot of humans, and that are very aggressive, okay. And if the energy feels off, maybe it's not you at all, but the energy or something that you're around is off, it's gonna, you disappointed because you're not gonna, see anything or capture anything but it doesn't mean that they're not there, okay? And it doesn't mean when you're meditating, that if you get an image or something that pops up, you know, a lot of times you might be questioning, well, how do I know that wasn't just my imagination? And that, well, let's put it this way. If you have to ask yourself that question, then it probably was not your imagination, okay? They come to us through dreams. You know, a lot of times we think, we're so quick to dismiss, and we think if it's a dream, if we dreamt about it, it's just something our mind put out there, okay? I don't believe that. I think that they just find other ways to do it, and they're more subtle about it. So I just think it's important, because trust me, I have those moments. I have those moments where I get frustrated and I'm like, dang, you know, I keep hearing that they want to connect and all this, you know, and the big reveal and all that. And then I get like information, and I feel like this information I'm guided to give it. But I'm like, okay, well, you're telling, you know, that to keep saying that this reveal is going to happen, that the loving beings that are going to come, and that, and yet I don't have any, you know, how do I know? I don't have any physical proof myself. How can I believe in it if I, you know, don't feel validated and that? And I believe that we sometimes, you know, it's all about having faith and trust in what we believe. Now, you're going to have people that are going to tell you you're a wackadoodle and that. People think that about me and that. But, you know, I'm okay with it. It's funny. I didn't used to be that way. But I got to a point where I was like, I don't really care. I don't care. If I am truly feeling happy, if I am feeling, you know, satisfied with what makes me feel happy, then why shouldn't I? You know, okay, so what? So you think I'm a wackadoodle? Go ahead. I don't care, you know? That's your right. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. But, you know, as they say, opinions are like, I hate to be blunt, but opinions are like a-holes. Everyone has one, right? So, not to be too crude. So that's how I look at things. You know, I just got to a point, you know, I was like, you're never going to be good enough for everybody. So why go around trying to please everybody? I have pink hair, okay? And that, do you think I care? I know some people think, you know, that my pink hair, of course, more people now are dyeing their hairs and that, but at my age and that, because I'm older, no, I'm not going to, announce my exact age because I don't want to. But that's my right. Okay. And not that I'm ashamed. No, I'm actually, you know, past my 40s, but I'm not in my 60s. But people would think at my age, you know, oh, that's, you know, why are you doing that? Hey, because you know what? Because this is my life and I'm enjoying it, and I'm embracing being me and having a good time of not giving a crap about what others think, or what others think about my views of how I see the world with benevolent beings, ETs, and that we maybe can't physically see. You know what? I don't care. I don't care if nobody believes it, you know? If it makes me feel good, and it's, you know, something that is dear to me, I'm not about to give it up. I am not about to give it up because I'm happy, okay? I feel more like I'm living my authentic self than having to go and hide in this little, you know, oh, I better be careful if I say this or I do that, you know. You know, people are going to be, you know, who cares? Who cares? You get, you know, while we incarnate, I believe that we incarnate, you know, go this life, and this life, and that I'm going to make the most of the life that I'm in and what's going to make me feel good. And so being this way, I never felt more authentic. I've never felt more validated. Just accepting things of who I am and the way I live without needing others' approval for it, okay? So I believe, when we get back to things, when it comes to making that contact, and that, I think that a lot of times what happens is we think that if we don't have something bold in our face, that, you know, we don't matter to these higher being, you know, it's only special people who are getting this kind of contact, but I don't. But you've got to really come from a place of love too, because if you are somebody and you say, well, I like this person, but I don't like this group, you know, and all that, and you're holding these grudges against, you know, well, I don't, you know, it's okay. You don't have to, you know, you don't have to be, say, it doesn't mean if somebody is really hateful and malicious, you do not, you can say, well, I can send, you know, loving, you know, not that you're being okay with their behavior at all, okay, but in order to have your peace and to have that peaceful energy, and that you can say, well, that is something that my energy is not going to take on. So I'm just going to send love and hope that maybe in their next incarnation, and that they're going to have whatever, if they're not going to wake up in this life, maybe in the next one they will. So, but I think that contact, you really have to open your heart and be, you know, just making it known, and it's not easy. Okay, let me tell you, okay, I am somebody, and I can be driving down the road and somebody will just come out and cut me off and maybe shoot me a bird and everything else, and it's like, okay, well, how am I supposed to sit there and keep that lovely little positive energy? And I'm just gonna, and it's not, I didn't say it's easy, okay, but I feel like if you really want that contact and that, you know, you really got to open your heart, you know, and try, and you don't want to be like, say, okay, I'm opening my heart, but I don't like my neighbor so and so. Like if things like that are going on in your mind while you're trying to sit there and saying, okay, I'm being loving, but you know, this person pissed me off today, and yada yada yada, you've got to set in your mind, okay, I'm not happy with what this person did and that person did, but am I going to let that fester inside of me, so that I then am not going to be completely, you know, ready for this contact? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, if you really, really want to do it, you really have to just make up in your mind and say, I'm going to do the best I can, and I'm sending out the love vibration, and can you please, you know, show me a contact. And a lot of times people don't realize that if they look at, if they really were to look back in things that happened in their lives, things that maybe they dismissed, or that, because I think too, when we're talking about the loving beings and that, the hints are going to be a lot more subtle. It's not like the dark beings and that are just bam in your face, especially when it comes to paranormal, and that we'll get things that, you know, the experiences we don't want to see, you know what I mean? But then when it comes to making that connection, because there's nothing that feels better than that beautiful love vibration that, you know, you really want to experience that. Okay, I got the luck of actually having it happen one night in what I call a lucid dream. Now people might say, oh, that's just a dream, and that, well, okay, you're entitled to believe that. So yeah, it's, anyhow, that's my message, and to let you know, not to give up, or not to think that, you know, you somehow are maybe not worthy of having that connection, as opposed to somebody who, say, man, they're always capturing like a ship in the sky and all that, because trust me, I have been there. But we don't know what their soul contracts are, and that does not mean that they are any better, because we all have a role. Okay, so sending beautiful love, light, energy to all of you. Thank you. I know this video is a little longer, but thank you. You're beautiful. I love you. Have a wonderful, amazing day. Bye, guys.